Hello and welcome to the Pastas of Foreign Pantry with me, Ellie. Today I'm making some 1819 pancakes from Elizabeth Hammond's Modern Domestic Cookery. And the thing that makes these pancakes particularly exciting is that instead of eggs I am using snow to make them. So stick around to see how I'm making snow pancakes. So it is nearly pancake day, it's one of the best days of the year. Obviously I think that has something to do with the fact that Lent comes directly after it, and that is 40 days of just misery if you're into celebrating Lent, which I always try and do something for, and I usually last, I think my record is about 4 hours, so maybe this year will be better, I don't know. We can hope, can't we? Today's experiment is from Elizabeth Hammond's 1819 work, Modern Domestic Cookery. Now that's not its full name. Its full name is much longer, and it is Modern Domestic Cookery and Receipt Book, containing approved directions for purchasing, preserving and cooking meat, fish, poultry, game, and the art of trussing and carving, preparing soups, gravies, sauces and made dishes, potting, pickling, and the branches of pastry and confectionery, a complete family physician, instructions to servants for the best methods of performing their various duties, the art of making British wines, brewing and baking by Elizabeth Hammond. This was the age where successful writers could be paid by the word. Now the thing that sparked off today's experiment was the fact that we had snow here. We don't really usually get snow, like a lot of it anyway. The last big snow we had was about 3 years ago, but this time we had major snowfall, and it settled and it lasted for ages. So my recipe actually uses snow in it today instead of eggs. So let's see how to make them. To make Elizabeth Hammond's snow pancakes, you will need a bowl of snow, 100 grams of plain flour, that's 3.5 ounces or half a cup, 300 ml of milk, that's 10 fluid ounces, any milk you like is fine, I used whole milk. Then once you've measured your ingredients, it says to add the flour and the milk and the eggs, or in this case the snow, because we're using snow instead of eggs, and then mix. So I'm going to pour all of the milk into the flour, and then really helpfully, it doesn't give you any quantities for how much snow to add, so I'm going to add what I think is the equivalent to about 2 eggs worth of snow, which I don't know how heavy an egg is, I'll add it over in the voiceovers. A large egg is about 66 grams. I did not use this information at all and ended up tipping a full-size serving roll of snow in, which I think is approximately about 100 grams. And then a move that will surprise no one, the snow is immediately melted to create the most liquidy batter you've ever seen in your life. So I don't know why what is it supposed to do? Egg's supposed to bind everything together, and this has just made everything more liquidy, so I have no idea how this is going to turn out. A pinch of ginger and some nutmeg. Add about half a teaspoon of ginger and a good grating of nutmeg. Stir it together. And now that that's all stirred together, it's time for some history. So welcome to my history corner. I've got my not at all contrived historical cookbooks. I've got my very important fake historical eucalyptus. It's not really a corner so much as my dining room. My husband is truly delighted that I have commandeered it for these purposes, and he's been relegated to the lounge, but such is the way of life. I'm going to stop stroking that now because it's weird. So, we're going to have a look at the history of pancakes. I hope you've got a really good cup of tea, and I hope you're ready for some pancake fun. Pancakes. Is there anything more comforting? Be it a traditional crepe with lemon and sugar, or a big fat stack of American blueberry-studded fluffiness, pancakes are up there in most people's top foods. But it will come as no surprise to anyone that pancakes, as fashionable and versatile as they are not a modern invention. In fact, pancake-type foods have been eaten since prehistoric times. The method of cooking food on a pan, or griddle or hot stone, rather than in an oven, is probably the oldest cooking method in fact. Ötzi the Iceman, a 5,300-year-old Neolithic man whose body was preserved in the Italian Alps, possibly enjoyed an acorn pancake as part of his last meal, if his stomach contents were anything to go by. Researchers could not prove conclusively, though, whether he ate these pancakes with maple syrup or Nutella. The ancient Greeks and Romans enjoyed pancakes too. The simplest were nothing more than flour and milk and egg, fried in oil and finished with honey. More expensive are ones which included spices, fruits and nuts. The ancient Greek physician Galen wrote about a type of pancake called teganiti, exceptionally simple but delicious donut-like concoctions of wheat flour and water, deep fried in olive oil and covered with honey. The ancient Romans had various pancake recipes under the title alita dosia, another sweet. Quantities of ingredients used were vague, meaning that the end product could either be a pancake, a fritter, or even a custard. The vagueness of the recipe for these pancakes left the interpretation open, which meant that if people were rubbish at making them, and the dish turned out too burnt or too runny, they could just say it was meant to be like that. Of course, the simplicity of pancake ingredients means that there's not a lot of evolution to be done with the dish. Milk, eggs, flour. That's about it. Not that people stopped trying to develop pancakes beyond these three basic foundations, be it the paper-thin crepe of France, the thicker dropscone of Scotland, or the puffy æbleskiver of Denmark. And it wasn't just Europe that loved pancakes. According to food historian K.T. Achaya, dosas were enjoyed in South India as far back as the 1st century. And on the other side of the world, pupusas, thick pancake-like flatbreads from El Salvador and Honduras, have been eaten since around 600 AD. But it wasn't until the Middle Ages that pancakes got their own very special day in the form of Pancake Day, or, to give it its formal birth name, Shrove Tuesday. The Ecclesiastical Institutes, written by Elfrich of Eynsham, a medieval monk who really knew how to grab a headline, dates from 1000 and states, "In the week immediately before Lent, everyone shall go to his confessor, and confess the deeds, and the confessor shall so shrive him as he then may hear by his deeds what he is to do." Love a good shriving. Shrive was an Old English word which meant to be absolved from your sin. But you'll already know this from your Old English grammar school lessons. I shrive, you shrive, he, she, it shrives, they shrive, we shrive, you, plural, shrove. Anyway, that's where Shrove Tuesday comes from, and by the 16th century, the day had become a bit of a party, and pancakes had become its mascot because people found they were a delicious and easy way to use up all of the butter and eggs and fat that they had in their kitchens before Lent started, and they weren't allowed to eat them for 40 days. Or else the church would get very frowny and might not do any future shrivings? Shrivenings. Shrives? Doesn't matter. That pancakes were a way to use up all of your ingredients in your house before the 40 days of Lent actually might be a bit of a myth. For one thing, the ingredients in pancakes are generally not things that people abstained from during Lent. Flour, milk, eggs, those things weren't banned by the church. It's things like meat that tended to be things that people fasted. So the idea of women frantically mixing up loads and loads of pancakes because they have to use them up possibly is just a bit of a story. Whatever the origins, there are some pretty awesome Pancake Day traditions in England. In fact, the inhabitants of Olney in Buckinghamshire have held a pancake race on Pancake Day since 1445 to commemorate this special day. Supposedly, so the legend goes, a local housewife who was cooking pancakes heard the church bell toll to signal the start of the shriving service. She ran to the church, pan in hand, tossing the pancake as she ran to stop it burning. The good women of Olney recreate this dash on Pancake Day every year, and the lucky race winner receives a kiss from the verger. In the Midlands, where I'm from, kids would go shroving, knocking on people's doors demanding pancakes. If you refused, they'd lob broken plates at you. Pancakes were eaten in the Middle Ages, but it really wasn't until the 16th century that they became the thing to eat on Shrove Tuesday. And speaking of the 16th century, the Tudors knew how to make a really good pancake. Thomas Dawson's 1594 book, The Good Housewife's Handmaid for the Kitchen, has a recipe for pancakes that includes a pint of cream, 5 egg yolks, ale, flour, sugar, spices and butter. Fat Tuesday indeed. Adding alcohol to pancake mix was a theme that the English could not let go of. Moving forward to 1805, Hannah Glass's The Art of Cookery included a recipe for pancakes made with brandy, and in her 1861 workbook of household management, Mrs. Beeton included a glass of sherry in one of her recipes. Cheers! So however you enjoy your pancakes, be it refined and civilised with sugar and lemon, or if you're someone who prefers an inferior but still acceptable pancake with bacon and banana, or even, God help you, if you enjoy a savoury with ham and mushroom, may you have a delicious and filling pancake day, and may all your past sins be forshriven. Heat the lard in a pan until it is sizzling hot, then carefully pour the mixture in. First one, truly a disaster. I wonder if maybe I'm making them too big, so I'm going to try again, take 2, and make them slightly smaller and see if that helps with everything, really. They're exceptionally hard to flip because they just seem to disintegrate as soon as you touch them, because there's no egg, so there's nothing binding them and holding them together. So it's really hard to flip them over because the minute the spatula touches them, they kind of cling to it and pull and break apart. So, I mean, maybe they just didn't have very pretty pancakes in the 19th century. Or maybe I'm going to need to flip. I think the secret is to cook them for longer than you would on one side and then flip them over at the end. I think that's it. And the lard will make them go a bit crispier as well than normal pancakes, I'm hoping. I've never been more nervous than I am now. Come on. All right. Yes. And here they are, Snow Pancakes. So let's see what they taste like. No, I'm not using a fork. Absolute animal. It's bloody delicious. Oh my god. That's so good. The ginger comes through, which works so well with the lemon, and it's really nicely sweet. And obviously that's to do with the amount of powdered sugar that I put on, but it's pancake day and you're not going to be allowed any sugar for 40 days, so you might as well get on that. It's really delicious. Actually, you do not miss eggs at all. Like I said, you probably notice it most when it's cooking because it doesn't hold together very well, but once it's cooked and it's on the plate, it tastes amazing. It tastes just like a crepe, really, but with a bit of a gingery kick to it. That works very well with the lemon. Ginger and lemon are a really good combination. Those are absolutely delicious, and I'm going to go away and finish that whole plate to myself. Thank you so much for watching. Join me again next time for my next experiment on the Pasta Define Pantry. Thank you very much.